Okay, good evening, everybody. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag, for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we will begin the reorganization meeting. The oath of office will be administered to newly elected trustees of the Board of Education. Fran Benjamin, District Clerk, will administer the oath of office to the re-elected trustees of the Board of Education, Carol Chang and Susan Falcove. Anna Levitin is unable to be here this evening. The Board trustees have 30 days from July 1st to take the oath of office. The oath of office will be administered to the Superintendent of Schools, too. Yeah, do start that.
Together or separate? Together. That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of trustee according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Fran Benjamin, District Clerk, will administer the oath of office to the Superintendent of Schools. Congratulations, Dr. Rogers. First item of business will be the officer elections, starting with President. We will take nominees for the Board President. Nominations require a second. We will continue accepting nominations until there are no more. Can I get a nominee for the President of the Board of Education? Lisa?
I nominate Thomas Rotolo.
I nominate Carol Chang.
Second. Shawnee, Park. Do we have any other nominees for President of the Board of Education? Okay. The nominees for President will be closed now. Okay. If anyone would like to say anything before we have the vote, I have a prepared statement. Dear members of the Board of Education, dedicated educators, valued members of our community, I'm honored to stand here before you today as the President of the Board of Education, seeking your support for my reelection. Our district's success is a testament to the bold vision, strong leadership, and unwavering dedication that has defined our tenure. Today, I want to take a few minutes to reflect on the incredible achievements that we have made together over the past couple of years, while also shining a light and sharing a vision for the future. At the forefront of our priority has been to integrate technology into education. We have recognized the importance of preparing our students for the digital age, and we have so prioritized coding and robotics education. Building the necessary technology infrastructure and establishing state-of-the-art research lab has empowered our students to explore their interest and excel in this field. In addition, our implementation of the one-on-one Chromebook program ensured that every student has access to technology for learning and innovation. Investing in education has played a vital role in the district's process. Starting from our elementary schools, we have witnessed remarkable improvements throughout the middle school and high school. Our comprehensive math and science program rival those of any district, offering our students an opportunity to engage with these subjects at a high level. The dedication to excellence is exemplary. We offer 29 AP classes, demonstrating our commitment to providing rigorous academic opportunities. Furthermore, our science research program has been resoundingly successful. We had 525 students participate last year, and we had 6 finalists in the Regeneron Science Talent Search. We've improved reading and math scores and have elevated our district's national ranking to 6th in the country. We believe in the importance of nurturing every student's interest and passion. Thus, we have expanded the offerings, including numerous clubs, sports teams, theater programs, creating a vibrant extracurriculum landscape. To promote physical fitness, we have established a new fitness center and witnessed significant growth in physical education program, with an increase from 3 sections to 28 sections in physical and PE programs, now serving approximately 600 students. We have also enhanced access to sports by adding lights to the turf field. We've maximized the opportunity for all students to participate. Inclusivity is fundamental to our district, and this is why we have also introduced programs such as co-ed rowing, unified and challenger basketball, flag football, to ensure that everyone can engage in athletic activities. Our dedication to improve the learning environment extends beyond the classroom. We have made substantial investments in our facility, addressing critical infrastructure needs like roofing, air conditioning, and air filtration systems. We understand ensuring student safety is of utmost importance, and we have installed bulletproof doors, windows to provide a secure environment for our learning and growth. Moreover, recognizing significant mental health, we have expanded our roster of mental health professionals to support our emotional well-being of our students. Transparent communication and engagement with the community and parents have been paramount to our district's success. We have made significant strides in this area with the establishment of a weekly update, dedicated webmaster at each building, communications in multiple languages to provide equal access of information and resources. The openness has fostered trust and increased involvement within our district. As our student enrollment has grown, we have responded by adding more teachers, personnel, to ensure that individualized attention is given to all students. The implementation of the co-teaching model has allowed us to maintain exceptional quality of education, irrespective of the increased number of students. In the past year, we have posed unique challenges due to the COVID pandemic. Nevertheless, we have demonstrated resilience and adaptability, investment in state-of-the-art infrastructure, computers, safety protocol, facilities, and remote learning. Additionally, our district has air filtration system, which had helped out with the particulates during the Canadian forest fires. In addition to these accomplishments, we have delivered a balanced budget under the tax cap while providing all of our valuable programs and services. Our commitment to expanding our resources include adding universal pre-K for all students, property tax exemption for senior citizens and our disabled community members. Furthermore, we have actively championed diversity by eliminating Native American mascot names. We've added holidays such as Eid, Lunar New Year, Diwali, and we foster inclusivity and cultural understanding. I'm also proud to mention our Diversity and Inclusivity Task Force, which ensures that stakeholders have a seat at the table and have provided us with invaluable insight as we navigate this important initiative. Our successful negotiation of the employment contracts with all our teachers' union has boosted staff morale. We've brought back the Teachers Barbecue, illustrating our commitment to well-being of our faculty. While I'm humbled to lead the district, I must express that significant achievements are solely not my efforts. The credits are shared with the entire board, exceptional superintendent and cabinet, all of our principals, teachers, staff, coaches. I am grateful for their unwavering dedication and talent. Ultimately, our success as a district is defined by the growth and character of our students, willingness, their transformation, and seeing them excel academically in sports, music, fills us all with immense pride. We are creating not just accomplished individuals, but individuals who pose respect and love for their families, and that is the true success of our district. Today, I present you myself for re-election, not on the basis of what I've already achieved, but with the steadfast eye forward to the future. Together, we will continue to support. I am confident, and we will continue to achieve greatness and prepare our students for further endless possibilities. I express my deepest gratitude and trust in your consideration. Thank you. Carol, do you want to speak? No? Okay. Okay.
The first resolution would be
Yeah,
resolution
okay.
on the
Okay. The first resolution would be Thomas Ratola to be elected as president of the School Board of Education effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. May I have a motion, please?
No, you already have the motion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just need the vote.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Okay, next resolution. Second resolution is Harold Chang to be elected as president of the Syosset Board of Education effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. May I have a motion, please? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions?
I believe Carol has to vote.
Okay, so,
You would announce the results, which is
Okay.
congratulations.
we have 5 votes for Carol Chang. Congratulations, Carol.
And at this point, she would take over for
Okay.
you as president. And I'll coach her through the rest
Okay,
of the
okay.
meeting.
Does she have the script? Or?
We'll leave your script
Okay.
right there.
Okay. Fran, would you issue the oath of office?
Yes, I have it.
I just want to thank everyone for entrusting me in this position. It is a great honor, and I look forward to working with everyone. And I do agree with everything that Mr. Ratola just stated before. This is a great team, and we have a lot of great stuff to move forward to. So I do look forward to working with everyone. Thank you. Okay, now we move forward to resolution number 2. We'll take nomination for the board vice president. Nomination, do I have any nomination for board VP? Tom? Oh, I'm sorry.
I nominate Lisa Koshia.
Can I have a second? Okay, Lisa Koshia and Jack, Mr. Ostrich. Okay, any other nominations? Brian Greco. Okay, resolution number 2, the election of the vice president of the board, Lisa Koshia.
Would you want to ask if there are any other
Oh,
nominations?
sorry.
And then close nominations if there are.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay. All right. So this closes the nomination for the vice president position. Okay. Resolution number 2, the election of VP, that Lisa Koshia be elected vice president of the board. All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Right. So now we go to the second one. Election of Brian Greco be elected as Vice President of the Board of Education, effective July 1st through June 30th, 2024. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right.
You have 5 votes, so you would congratulate
Okay.
Mr. Greco.
Congratulations, Mr. Greco. Okay, so now we take. Lynn?
Sorry. I just really wanted to thank Tom and Lisa. Obviously, this wasn't an easy decision. You guys have done a wonderful job, and we really appreciate all your time and dedication over the past year. You've been a great guide for us, and you've been a wonderful leadership. So thank you again for all of your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. I do agree. It was a great year, and we moved forward a lot of items during that year. So thank you so much for both of your services. Okay. Okay.
Pause for a second and I'll seat. So we'll go through the rest of the reorganization agenda.
Yeah.
No need to rush. Just take your time.
Okay.
One after the other.
All right. Resolution numbers 3 through 6 can be taken together. They are the appointment of district clerk, district treasurer, district deputy treasurer, and central treasurer for extra classroom activity account of the Syosset Central School District, effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Can I have a motion, please? Susan Falcove, Jack Ostrich, seconded by Second by Jack. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 7 is the appointment of Christine Payne as the Data Protection Officer. May I have a motion, please? Lisa Koshia, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 8 is the adoption of policies and code of conduct of the Board of Education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Lynn Epinson, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 9 appoints H2M Architects as the district architects. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 10 and 11 can be taken together. The appointment of Mount Sinai South Nassau to provide services as school district chief officer, chief school physicians, health-related services, and Dr. Ronald Marino as the medical director for the public access defibrillator program. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Lynn Abramson. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 12 through 14 can be taken together. The appointment of Nowalski and Smith as internal auditor, Serini and Associates as claims auditor, and Cullen and Donowski as independent auditor. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Tom Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Lynn Abramson. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution numbers 15 through 28 can be taken together. They are annual appointments of purchasing agent, assistant purchasing agents, residency officers, attending officer, record access officer, records management officer, asbestos officer, health and safety officers, and chemical hygiene officer, 504 ADA and Medicaid compliance officer, Title IX coordinator, payroll certification officer, payroll certification officers to certify civil services payroll report, officer responsible for receipt, collection, and review of certified payroll records, school officers to direct and execution of budget transfers on chief school officer's approval. Transportation supervisor to recommend approval of employment of bus drivers to the chief school officer. Resolution number 29 is the authorized.
We just have to, now you have.
It's missing.
You can take them all
Oh,
together,
okay.
so now all in
All
favor,
right.
all opposed.
All right.
We
May I
need
have a motion, please?
Yeah,
Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Resolution number 29 is the authorization of board members, superintendent, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. The NISBA virtual annual business meeting is scheduled for October 16, 2023 at 4 p.m. Would anyone like to volunteer to be a voting delegate at the business meeting? It's going to be virtual. It's Monday at 4 p.m. Anyone?
Maybe folks can look at the date.
Yeah.
And circle back to this in August.
Sorry, can you tell me the date again?
It's October 16th. It's a Monday at 4 p.m. It's virtual, so you can just log in from home.
Can I just check the work calendar before I?
Sure. So we circle back in August for
Yeah.
this? Okay.
But, you just have to approve 29 then.
Okay.
You need a motion in a second.
All right. So may I have a motion, please, for, Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 30 is the appointment of faculty auditor, extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 31 authorizes Dr. Teresa Curry to waive fees for the use of facilities. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Falco. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 32 is the designation of banks. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 33 and 34 can be taken together. They determine the board meetings, budget hearing, annual district election, and the vote declaration meeting. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 35 designates the official newspaper. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Number 36, resolution number 36 establishes petty cash funds. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Lynn Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 37 establishes mileage reimbursement. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 38 authorizes the superintendent of schools to apply for grants. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 39 authorizes Dr. Teresa Curry and Dr. Patricia Rufo as signatories for the district. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 40 appoints the law officer of Ingram and Smith as school district counsel. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Ms. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Resolution number 41 appoints Ulrich Harrington and Sutcliffe as bond counsel. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Resolution number 42 appoints Munistat Services as fiscal advisors. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. This concludes the July reorganizational meeting, and now we move on to the July Board of Education monthly meeting. Okay. Mr. Ed Escobar, you want to take 5 minutes? Oh, okay. We need a motion to that. 5 minutes.
You don't need a motion,
Okay.
you can just call.
We're going to call for a 5-minute recess. Okay. Oh, okay. There will be now a public hearing on the district-wide school safety plan. Mr. Escobar, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, will update us on the plan. Mr. Escobar, all yours.
Thank you very much. School districts are required to annually review their school safety plans and make the plans available for public comment. The safety plans were established to provide for the health, safety, and security of the parents and staff and allow for input from the entire school community. These plans address prevention, response, recovery with respect to potential emergencies that may occur in the school district. The district-wide school safety team met in May and reviewed the plan. The district's robust plan was updated to include strategies to improve procedures for reunification in case of an emergency. To improve upon our reunification plans, we held a tabletop exercise at HBT with Mr. Kevin Bonanno and his administrative team, along with the POP officers and our school safety, school security, to review our reunification procedures. Additionally, our central office administrative team, including Dr. Rogers and Dr. Curry, met the new precinct commander of the 2nd Precinct. We all met at the high school along with Dr. Durante and gave the new precinct commander a tour of the high school. Whether it is a tabletop exercise or touring a school, the dialogue with the 2nd Precinct is invaluable as we continue to improve our security measures. Finally, one of the elements of our school safety plan is to train staff and students on conflict resolution strategies and peer mediation programs. With that said, with support of the Board of Education, we will begin the 2023-2024 school year with full-time social workers in each of our 7 elementary schools. The social workers will provide the necessary training to support their respective schools in these strategies and programs. This safety plan will be posted online for public comment for 30 days beginning on July 7th, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Escobar. Are
Any-
there?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Are there any questions from the board for Mr. Escobar? No question. Jackie? Mr. Ostrich? Oh, no. Okay. All right. So I just want to reiterate myself from the previous meeting that it's such a great thing to see that every school now in the district has a social worker, and this is going to be tremendous help for our students and to bring up the social emotional learning. So thank you so much to Dr. Rufo as well to build that into the budget. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So if there's anyone from the audience who would like to come up to the podium to ask questions specifically about the district-wide safety plan, you may do so now. In the same audience, the public rules will follow. You'll have to come up here and put your name down, announce your address, and only the Syosset School District residents may ask questions. In the first round, you have 4 minutes, and at the end of the audience to public, if you wish to speak, you can come up for the second round. So if anyone wants to come up, please do so now.
Hi, my name is Parisa Osmanovic. I live at 39 Irving Drive. And what was the other thing we have to include? I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, just write it down on this page. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before. Dear members of the board, thank you for allowing for the public to actually ask questions about this policy and implementing such a thoughtful measure into our elementary schools. As a fellow educator and parent of 4 young children, ages 9, 6, 5, and 1, my family came to Syosset because of the district's ethos and commitment to multiculturalism and diversity. And I come before you tonight to raise an issue that undermines that commitment and directly impacts the safety of the children in our school district. The administration was made aware of an extracurricular sports event that was held by a Syosset basketball league in one of our schools and resulted in violation of fire safety code, organizational negligence, parent coaches publicly cursing and arguing, and children of one team experiencing excessive aggression. Children were bleeding and crying with no stoppage or consideration from the event organizers, referees, and coaches, and were left to be repeatedly targeted in what appeared to be racially motivated aggression until parents individually removed their children from the event and walked out. As a parent, my understanding of bullying in school during school hours is that there's a district-wide DASA protocol, which I would like to raise its inherent limitations at a separate time and formally ask for a work stream and agenda item to be added around, with emphasis on accountability in response to bullying around ableism, racial, ethnic, religious, and gender identity and/or sexual orientation. For tonight, I want to address the source of in-school bullying as experienced by students, our students, through participation in the nonprofit extracurricular sports organizations such as SPL. These organizations advertise as not-for-profit, yet do not offer transparency into their financial dealings or board meetings as required by the National Council for Nonprofits. Left unchecked, this results in appointed leadership that operates more like a for-profit corporation, fostering private relationships with families that are paying them or individuals for private instruction and currying favor and social capital in their programs. The organizations also advertise on paper as not being affiliated with our school district, but due to the implicit exclusivity to Syosset School District students and operating exclusively in our facilities, many families enroll their children in these programs, entrusting their safety to their leadership and organization without there being any formal protocols or policies in place to ensure that they're adhering to our district standards for codes of conduct or governance. The lack of accountability results in acts of aggression and bullying that are left unresolved and seamlessly spill over into our schools. To my surprise, we currently do not require the coaches or administrators of these organizations to undergo or pass background checks, and they have unmitigated access to our children as young as 5. We would assume none of the coaches or leadership of these organizations have a violent or criminal drug background, and we could be wrong because we as parents in a school district don't check. More troubling, I've been told that these sports organizations are telling parents that they are feeder programs into the school sports teams like JV and varsity sports. As a result, many families are intimidated and afraid of speaking out against them because of retaliation or affecting their child's future in sports within our school district. It's my understanding that the administration cannot change any of these policies, but only the board can do so. I humbly ask the board to please consider revisiting and amending the existing policies for facilities usage and permitting by extracurricular organizations to ensure the safety of our children. I ask the board to please annually review the nonprofit status of any organization that advertises itself as such in our district and require it meet the basic values of accountability and transparency as a matter of ethical leadership as well as legal compliance. This should also be demonstrated by way of regular background checks and open board meetings, as well as demonstrable adherence to a code of conduct that meets our school district standards for safety and respect for diversity and cultural sensitivity. Any organization that cannot adhere to these requirements should have their permits and facilities usage in our district revoked. We cannot continue to risk the safety of our children with organizations simply because they quote-unquote have been around forever or are the only one in town. It would be like allowing an old restaurant with gross health code violations to keep serving food because it's the only pizzeria in town. I would ask the board to further have a work stream to improve the current policies and invite other parents in the district to participate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else who wish to come up to the podium to speak about the school's district-wide safety plan? Okay. And if anyone wants to come up for the second time, you may do so at this time too. Okay. All right. This closes the audience to public for the district-wide safety plan.
So thank you for your comments. One of the protocols is that we can't address any individual person, organization, or circumstance from this venue. But what I will say is we take everything that's reported to us seriously. We investigate it thoroughly. We act appropriately. You're right in saying that the board establishes the policies around facilities use. I was writing quickly trying to keep up, and I promise you I'll go back and watch back the video so that I get all of your points better than they are in my notes. But the district and board does require that the code of conduct that's adopted tonight requires that anytime any individual is in our facilities, they must adhere to the code of conduct. And failure to adhere to the code of conduct, whether that's at a board meeting or at an event, whether that's an event held by the district itself or by someone who's using our facilities with a permit, has to comply with the district's code of conduct. And, we have various ways of following through and enforcing that code of conduct depending on what the circumstances are around it. What I would say is that policy that the district has had for a long time is that facilities use is restricted to organizations that have more than half of the participants as Syosset residents, so that naturally creates a concentration of interest among the Syosset community and who are in the organizations who are in the building, and that's also understandable in so much as it is the community that's paid for the facilities, so the board would naturally want to reserve their use for organizations that are serving members of the community. Certainly we can take those suggestions for policy review under advice. The board goes through a regular process of reviewing all of the district's policies with our school attorneys, and if you'll follow subsequent board agendas, you'll see that the board will have some of those policies that have been recently reviewed on its agenda. The way the policy adoption process works is they're on the agenda, they are in the public space for 30 days before they're adopted finally, and then at a subsequent board meeting, the board will then adopt them. But I do recognize that it can be intimidating to come to the podium, and so thank you for your thoughtful comments and for taking the time to share them with us.
Okay, thank you. We now move on to the monthly meeting of the Board of Education. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of June 12, 2023? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Treasurer's report, Dr. Rufo.
Thank you. As shown on the Treasurer's report, the cash on hand for the month end May 2023 was $131,847,054.72. It shows that bank balances for all cash accounts were reconciled to the book balances and were collateralized in accordance with our banking agreements and the investment policy. Thank you.
May I have a motion? May I have a motion to accept Dr. Rubo's treasurer's report? Ms. Ebronson, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Now we'll move on to superintendent's report. Dr. Rogers.
Thank you. So first of all, congratulations to Ms. Chang and to Brian on your election, and I look forward to working with you this year. And I've just a handful of items to report to you. First, one of my favorite things to do is the arrival at summer school. So yesterday was the first day of summer school, so it was the first day that I got to do my happy place where I welcome our kids to our summer school. We have 825 students enrolled in our summer school, another banner year. As the board knows, last year we went through an extensive effort of reworking a lot of the curriculum for two reasons. One, just to refresh it and make it more engaging and exciting for kids, and two, in recognition of some of the learning challenges that students experienced during the COVID crisis. We wanted to make sure that we had a robust curriculum that would help them make up any losses they might have experienced. So summer school is off to a brisk start. There are 45 classes for those 825 students. And I'm looking forward to spending many more mornings welcoming our kids and parents as they drop off. Summer means that we scramble to get as much construction done as we possibly can. This is our one opportunity when they're, yes, it doesn't matter how many times you tell me that this book gets in the way of the infrared whatever, there. So now the infrared whatever will work properly. And you'll have only operator error to blame. So we have not have quite as extensive a construction schedule as we've had in some of the past years because we're coming to the tail end of the last round of capital borrowing that we did. But some things that will be obviously visible to the community will be things like the tennis court resurfacing that is going on here at the high school campus. We had done a resurfacing about 5 this may be a battery problem, to try and extend the life of the courts that were there, but they had more significant problems. We managed to get 5 more years out of them, but it's time to refurbish them completely. There's a lot of masonry brick repointing that's going on around the district. Obviously, we want to keep our buildings watertight so that the infiltration doesn't degrade the exteriors further. They're doing some work on the gym space in HBT, so when we get back in the fall, we'll see an improved main court in the main gym there. Both of the middle schools are having work done on the cafeteria lines to make them a little bit more modern, but also to try and improve the flow so kids spend less time waiting for food and more time eating their food. We're doing some work on the outdoor basketball court at Robbins Lane. There is some work going on again at HBT in the parking lot. Both of the gyms in the 2 middle schools are having the wooden partitions down the middle removed. In the long run, this will save us money because the wooden partitions are a hazard, and so we have to do extra work with them every year to make sure that they're certified so that they're not hazardous to the people in the gym. By removing them, we eliminate the hazard and we eliminate the annual inspections. There are some other work that's being done in terms of mats, wall mats in the auxiliary gym at the middle school, at the Southwoods Middle School, and we're hoping to get started, and we're waiting right now for approval from the State Education Department to begin work on converting a large room at the high school into another classroom. As the board knows, we've experienced a lot of sudden enrollment, particularly in the summer of 2021, and we're now digesting that enrollment bubble as it moves through the district. So we're trying and scrambling to try and identify new spaces in several of our buildings, but particularly the high school. So the conversion of this room will allow us to open up one more classroom. So as soon as we get approval from the State Education Department, we'll be able to start work on that. And then just a couple of other things to note. At the beginning of the pandemic, we changed the high school schedule and shortened the day by 9 minutes, by 1 minute of every period, in order to alleviate some traffic congestion between the dismissal here at Southwoods and the dismissal at the high school and the 2 roadways that they share. So now that the pandemic is over, the state's rules are back in effect for the amount of time that students need to be in class. We'll have to restore the original schedule to the high school. We're hoping that it works as it did prior to the pandemic, but we're also aware of the fact that traffic patterns have changed and people's commuting patterns have changed. So we have no guarantees that it will work as it did prior to the pandemic. We really have no way of knowing that until after school starts, but we'll have something in writing for parents, obviously, about the change, and we'll continue to work. We've been speaking with Huntington Coach to try and see if there are things that we can do here from an infrastructure perspective to alleviate any of that congestion that might occur from going back to the original schedule. And one thing that sort of looms in front of the district now, and this is where I'll conclude, is worrying about traffic congestion that may occur as a result of a proposed development on Jericho Turnpike at the site of the former Ralph's Ices and the trailer park that's just west of Underhill Boulevard. So we learned last month that the town was considering an application to build a truck logistics facility that would have semi-trailers, tractor trailers, and bobtails, which are the front end of a tractor trailer with no trailer behind it, as well as some passenger vehicles for the operators of these larger trucks that would use that site as a staging site for trucking logistics operation. So that would add significantly to the traffic on Jericho Turnpike during hours when we're trying to run our busing operations through there. So we anticipate that that could create additional delays. We have been working with the school's attorney to write a letter to the town expressing our concerns and reservations about this proposed project, and I'm certainly prepared. I've shared a copy of the draft of that letter with the board, and I'm certainly prepared to take any feedback the board has for me in terms of how you'd like us to proceed in sharing our concerns with the town. And I would just remark that the town is holding the record open until the end of the day tomorrow. So if we have anything that we'd like to share with the town, tomorrow would be the day to do it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rogers. Are there any questions from the board for Dr. Rogers? Mr. Rotolo?
Thank you, Ms. Chang. Dr. Rogers, I saw that you were able to get the light up the road from the school, which was amazing how that appeared. But thank you for that. But since they were so speedy and able to get us the light there, can we get the light where we originally wanted it?
I appreciate you giving me credit for something that I didn't personally accomplish. So the town did, actually the county, did install a light at the intersection of Cold Spring Road and Southwoods Road. We were certainly in favor of that and shared the fact that we were in favor of it, but I suspect that it was in the works before I had expressed the school district's enthusiasm for that idea. I had conversations with the town and county officials about the congestion on Southwoods Road, particularly at the exit of the high school property, and we've experienced a couple of accidents there, most of them fender benders, but we did have one more serious accident there. And I expressed my feeling that the intersection would be better served during arrival and dismissal phase by having a light to slow traffic on Southwoods Road and help motorists trying to make the left-hand turn out of the high school. We even went so far as to have H2M, our architecture firm, do a traffic study of that intersection, but I don't believe that our traffic study was persuasive enough to make the case for a light there. But I'm enthusiastic about the light that's going to be at Cold Spring Road and Southwoods Road, and we'll of course revisit the light in front of the high school and continue to express our thoughts that it might be worthwhile to do.
Hold on. Mr. Ostrich?
Well, hold on. Brian, were you going to follow up on that?
Okay, all right.
Do we know what the basis was for the town to allow the light up on Cold Spring Road? Like, is there anything we can learn from that to use to get the light where we want it?
So I'm not an expert in traffic, although I've learned a little bit through this process of lobbying for the light in front of the high school. To do it, there's a series of criteria that have to be met in order to get what's called a warrant. So the warrant, to earn a warrant, there's things about traffic volume, number of accidents, and there are a particular series of steps that you have to go through and kind of check off in order to get to that point. So for whatever reason, and I won't be able to explain the ins and outs of it, but the intersection in front of the high school exit doesn't qualify, but I'm presuming that the intersection at Cold Spring Road and Southwoods Road does qualify. I would note that we've had 2 accidents at that intersection that involved school district buses, one not serious to us, but serious to other vehicles. We were incidentally involved, and another that was more serious for us. Fortunately, in all of those cases, no one was injured, but it certainly points to the fact that that is a dangerous intersection, and people tend to approach it at high speed, particularly on Cold Spring Road. So having a device there, I think, will make that a much safer intersection for everyone, not just school district vehicles, but everyone who uses that intersection.
Mr. Ostrich, did you want to? Okay.
So just a quick follow-up on this. Are we engaging just with the executive branch of Nassau County? Have we engaged on the legislative side as well, potentially as a lobbying effort on our behalf, or we feel like that may be a dead end for us, or can you sort of talk through the process we've used so far?
Sure. So we have engaged with both of the county legislators who have at one time or another represented Syosset. That would be Mr. Drucker and Mr. Lafazan. I've engaged with town supervisor indirectly, who's had me work with the people in his office who are responsible for this, the highway department. We've talked to our town councilwoman, Ms. Walsh. Ms. Walsh actually went so far as to stand on the curb with me at the exit and watch a dismissal phase for about an hour and get a sense of it herself. She invited, and they came, and Mr. Lapizan also invited the district's POP officers. These are the members of the 2nd Precinct who are assigned to schools. And they also stood at the intersection and watched a dismissal phase with me, and they came another day and watched an arrival phase with me. So we've had, the police have been wonderful about coming out and looking at it. Our legislators have been wonderful about engaging with us and going so far as to come and look at it. I've had very productive conversations, cordial conversations with the town and the folks in the highway department. But I think they adhere closely to their procedures, and we're not at a level where we've triggered their procedures yet.
Right, so maybe we should follow up with, maybe it's not a light, maybe it's a sign for slowing down, or a speed bump, or a traffic crossing guard, or something else that's within the county's control that maybe we can, if we can't make a light, maybe we can make the next 2 levels down.
Yeah, we had offered to them stop sign, what's called an operable stop sign. These are the ones that fold in half and they only work part of the day, and we said that we would use district employees to operate it so that they wouldn't have to staff it, and we would just have the stop sign there during arrival phase and dismissal phase. Their worry about that is that it confuses drivers, apparently. Some days you're able to speed through, and other days you must stop there, so they think those contribute to more accidents, not less. We talked about a flashing light, so yellow in one direction, red in the other. And unfortunately, the answer to all of those was no, 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 and no. The district would be willing to staff with a crossing guard, a great idea, a good suggestion, or even somebody just to direct traffic. But the county law is that only county employees can stand in the street, and we cannot. And my impression was that they felt, I already know that there is a shortage of crossing guards in Nassau County, and a high school property would be a low priority relative to an elementary property for the limited number of crossing guards they have. So I certainly don't fault any of them for, I don't feel like we're being blown off. I do feel like we haven't found exactly the right way to make the case yet.
Dr. Rogers, just a quick question about 80 Jericho Turnpike. We read the letter that was drafted. I know that we were advised last month at the June meeting that the hearing was put off for 30 days by the town, which means that hearing is up and coming. Would it be maybe next week or the week after? And so the question is, do you know what the date is? And my second question is, along with that letter, which I think is very well written, do you think we should be sending a representative from the district on behalf of us to physically speak? And just, I think it might be more influential if they have a letter plus an actual person with a voice that could ask questions to the board and just raise the concerns. Somebody that maybe if the board has questions, they have somebody that they could ask and kind of go back and forth for the district.
Thanks for that question. I did ask our attorney, Carrie Ann, to research that for us, and she clarified for me that the town is not having a second hearing. They're holding the record open for 30 days. So the 30 days actually expires on Saturday, but they won't be open on Saturday. So the last day to submit comments would be tomorrow. I don't think that they're holding another hearing on that property. They are just going to, at a subsequent meeting, I guess, either approve or not approve the building plan that was submitted to them. So the plan, as I understand it, is an as-of-right use, meaning that it's consistent with the zoning for that piece of property. And the question before the town is whether to approve their building plans for the site. So they didn't approve it at the last meeting, and then they offered to hold the record open for 30 days. So we can be on the record with our opposition, but I don't think there's going to be an in-person opportunity. However, if Carrie Ann is going to follow this closely for us, and if such an in-person opportunity comes up, we will make sure that either someone from the administration or someone from the law firm shows up to represent us.
Just to follow what Lisa said, if there's, at least as far as I'm concerned, from my opinion, if there's anything that we can do to, show that we're against it, I think, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think we're all against it. So anything that would make the case stronger that you could think of, I'd be in favor of.
Well, I do think it carries weight when the board as a whole decides to send a letter as opposed to me sending one on behalf of the school district or on behalf of the board. So if it was your decision tonight that you were all in agreement that you wanted to illustrate your opposition, then I would suggest that we send the letter, not from me, but from every member of the Board of Education. I would certainly associate myself with the letter, but it would come directly from you as elected officials to your fellow elected officials. I don't think you need to do something so formal as a vote unless there's someone who doesn't want to be associated with the letter.
Are we all good with sending a letter on behalf of the board? Okay, Dr. Rogers, could you do that too? And then in the future, if they respond to the letter, or if there's anything else that we can do to help making that traffic pattern better there to the town, please let us know too. Thank you. Okay.
And just separate from 80 Jericho Turnpike, just a quick question. I know that you were saying we're waiting for state ed approval to get the extra classroom space at the high school. Do you think that we would get the approval in time for the construction and whatnot to be done to implement whatever class we're looking to put in there for September, or you think that's something, striving high for?
You know me, I'm forever the optimist, also forever the realist. The way building projects work at the State Education Department, they will not consider approving a plan until a funding source has been approved by whatever mechanism. So this was incorporated in the district budget, so the district budget was approved in May. We sent the plans up to them days later, and so that sort of starts the clock and gets us in line. So working in our favor is it's not complicated. It's a wall and we're going to put some windows in it, and that's pretty much all that needs to be done. So I'm hoping the fact that this is an uncomplicated project may help it go quickly through the State Ed Department, but I also recognize that there are some backlogs. But I'm going to do my best like when you go to the grocery store and you only have one item and you kind of like wave it noticeably so somebody maybe lets you in front of them. I'm going to kind of do that, the equivalent of that with the State Education Department.
Lynn?
If waiving your grocery item doesn't work, do we have a plan B?
Yeah, we have built the schedule as though that room does not yet exist. So if the room comes around, it will alleviate a little bit of congestion at the high school, but we're not going to be without space if we're not ready yet.
Any more questions for Dr. Rogers? Mr. Rotolo?
Dr. Rogers, can you then give the board an update on what the resident came up and discussed? Obviously, I'm very disturbed to hear what happened. Since we're talking about safety, and I think I've brought this up many times, I'm also concerned about many of our middle schoolers and high schoolers that ride their bikes to school, especially electronic bikes. I don't know if we have the POP officers or anybody come to the school that does safety protocol. You should be wearing your helmet. You should be following, you should be on the right side of the rules. I don't know if we still do that, but I'm very concerned about that.
We do a number of those safety talks with kids, but we have been talking as an administration about this being an opportune time, especially with the advent of e-bikes, which are new, to go back, update those, reemphasize it, and work with our POP officers. They do a number of great presentations, and I'd be curious to see if they've updated some of those presentations as well, but I think it's a good opportunity for us to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Now we move on to the Board of Education update. Since the June BOE meeting, the board attended the district reception and also graduations. Any board members wish to speak about those two events? All right, so those are the two events that the board attended. There are no legislative items. Now we move on to audience to the public. Sure, yeah.
So do we have a consistent terminology for graduations versus moving up ceremonies? In other words, graduations are really only for high school and moving up is for elementary and middle schools. Are we mixing and matching those terms and potentially creating a little bit of confusion where some folks might think elementary or a middle school graduation are a gigantic event relative to a high school graduation? In other words, I think there is the mixing of terminology is creating differing expectations among different schools. And so I'm wondering if we have like a way that we classify these things consistently and if we want to move to do that.
You certainly can formalize that. We can be a little stricter about how we use the terms. They are certainly used interchangeably a lot, although we formally call the high school exercises commencement exercises, which is ironically named because commencement means beginning, not end. But it's called the commencement exercise, and that is the time at which we recognize a student's graduation from high school. We do moving up ceremonies at every one of the other buildings. We even had a moving up ceremony for each of our brand new UPK programs, and those kids are not going to be going to college just yet. But I think we've used the terms interchangeably. I have not, I wasn't aware that it's raising expectations for what those ceremonies would look like. We can certainly talk with the principals about harmonizing our terminology a little bit more. It might differ from building to building.
Okay, all right. So now we move on to audience to public. Just want to remind the audience a few rules that residents must enter their full name and address into the register. Each resident will have 4 minutes to address the Board of Education. The board will not permit polling of the board members by speakers. After every resident wishing to speak has had an opportunity to do so, the Board of Education or administration will do their best to provide responses to residents' questions or comments. After every resident has had a chance to speak, we recognize the residents who wish to address the board a second time after their initial 4-minute turn. No speaker is permitted to address issues concerning an individual student or staff member. If anyone wishes to come up to the podium, you may do so now for the audience to public.
Hi, Parisa Osmanovich again, 39 Irving Drive. This is completely spontaneous. I didn't expect an opportunity to actually bring this up, but I have a question for the board around policies and implementation of social studies curriculum in K through 5 in discussions with the administration of the elementary school that my children attend. I was told that the social studies curriculum has not been visited in a very, very, very long time. And so the information that the children are receiving with regards to holidays, historical events, national, histories, etc. It's dodgy in the nicest way possible, and just factually inaccurate and historically problematic. So my question, I guess, to the board is, how do we see this moving forward? And that's it. I'm sorry. That's completely off the top of my head and unprepared.
Thank you. Are there any members from the audience who wish to come up to speak? Okay. This closes audience to public.
So thank you for your question. the district goes through a process of reevaluating all of its different curriculum strands and goes cyclically through them. In the past, so for example, about 9 years ago when I arrived here, the district had just changed math curricula. We're now in the process of deciding what will be the successor curricula to that. And we do that with English, science, etc. So social studies, particularly at the elementary level, a lot of that was performed by one of the BOCES. BOCES are an umbrella organization that service a lot of school districts in the state. They have a reservoir of social studies curriculum. We've noticed that that curriculum could use updating, and it is in our curriculum cycle now. I know Dr. Curry and Mr. Laverso have been engaged in this process and discussion for a while. I'll let Dr. Curry give us just a brief overview of where we are in that exploration and when we think we'll see the first revisions come through.
Sure, absolutely. So currently, to your point that at times curriculum can become either stagnant or obsolete, one of the aspects we have focused on in elementary education with social studies is preventing that. And as a result, we have been drawing from various resources, including those that have been produced through various BOCES affiliates, as well as different providers and vendors, in order to compile accurate, current, up-to-date, and timely social studies as well as civics-based curricula for our students. Mr. Laverso has been conducting meetings throughout this past year, bringing together committee groups of elementary teachers, taking a look at our social studies curriculum, aligning it in a cross-cutting fashion that it works well with our ELA, as well as the other aspects most tying in with cultural events and our social emotional harmony program also. To that point, though, we do recognize that there is room for improvement and growth, and as such, we're doing a deeper dive into the various products that are out there, as well as engaging in summer curriculum writing, where we have teams of our elementary teachers that are coming together to do some very in-depth work and tying it into our overall elementary instructional program. So we're looking ahead and talking about setting aside sacrosanct time within the elementary school day to devote to social studies, but not in isolation. And that's a key point. What we've been intentionally doing is integrating various aspects of social studies as well as civics and focus on multicultural and also holiday celebrations throughout the entire school year, instead of typically designating either a week, a month, or a day in isolation, but really inculcating it into all of the conversations that are taking place, tied in as well with our reading and writing program.
Thank you, Dr. Curry. Ms. Chang?
Thank you. There are no discussion items, and there's no unfinished business. The following is new business. A items. A1 through A2 can be taken together. They are the approvals of staff changes in 2023 and 2024 stipends and hourly rates. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, second by Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A3 is the approval of a title change for the Director of Elementary PPS, UPK, and CPSE. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A4 is the approval of a title change for Director of Instructional and Administrative Technology. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A5 is the approval of unaligned staff salary adjustments. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A6 is the approval of certified athletic trainer. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, second by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. A7 is the approval of coaching recommendations and additional pay for coaches. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, second by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 8.8 is the ratification of stipulation of agreement between the district and the nurses until unit represented by the STA. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B items. B1 and B2 can be taken together. They are the recommendations of the committees on special education and preschool special education. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B3 through B7 can be taken together. They are the appointments to the committees on special education. Section 504, building subcommittees on special education, of district subcommittees, and preschool special education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B8 is the approval of student club charters for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, second by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B9 is the first reading of the revised purchasing policy number 6700. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Abramson, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. This will be voted on at the August 28, 2023 meeting. Copies of the proposed policy are available for inspection on the district website. C items. C1 through C2 can be taken together. They are the approval of authorization of service contracts and special education and/or nursing contracts. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Oh, you have a question? Yes, Mr. Greco, please.
Dr. Rufo, this may be for you. One of the contracts is our insurance contract, and in the agenda, it is an estimated premium amount for the year. I'm just wondering why that's estimated at this point.
We typically, that's nicer, all of our different lines of liability insurance. We generally put that as an estimate in case, for example, there's a new district vehicle that's purchased and that might increase the amounts of like the auto piece of that package policy. So that's really why we keep it as an estimate.
You know, Dr. Rufo, I have one other question. This is maybe a little too much, but ORIC, our bond counsel, I know we're changing the way we're doing TANs this year slightly. I'm wondering, besides what is the general increase in lawyer fees that may or not apply to ORIC because of the way we pay them, was there a large increase in their fee because of our change to TANs?
No, I had spoken with both ORIC and bond counsel. Bond counsel and our fiscal advisors, and they indicated that there was not going to be a change based on because we're doing it at the same time.
Are there any more questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C3 is the approval of authorization for participation in the Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C4 is the establishment of school and public library tax levies for the Syosset Central School District 2023-2024. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C5 is the authorization for adjustments to budgetary reserves. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C6 is the approval of acceptance of audit report. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C7 is the authorization of a grant agreement. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C8 is the authorization to enter into data security and privacy agreements and amendments. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C9 through C14 can be taken together. They are authorizations to participate in cooperatives. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C15 through C19 can be taken together. They are authorizations for piggybacking. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C20 and C21 can be taken together. They're the approval of an agreement with BOCES regarding instructional technology services. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C22 and C23 can be taken together. They are the approval of agreements regarding transportation and security services for field trips and other individual events. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C24 is the approval of authorization for board members, superintendent, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C25 is the award of Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium Cooperatives bids for 2023 and 2024. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C26 is the approval of authorization to standardize purchase. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C27 is the amendment to agreement regarding UPK RFPs. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C28 is the disposal of broken, surplus, and/or obsolete equipment, supplies, and books. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? Mr. Ostrick?
Yep, I have a question not specific to this motion, but we zoomed through the discussion items, and there's something that I didn't get a chance to ask. So upon the conclusion of this, I did want to ask something.
Okay, regarding this resolution, all in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Mr. Ostrick.
So, like I mentioned, we zoomed through the discussion items because there was nothing on the agenda, but I did want to mention, and there wasn't another spot, it seemed to me during the meeting to mention it, we're going on a facilities tour on July 13th, and then we're not meeting again until August 28th. I would like another chance to discuss what we see on the facilities tour prior to that meeting. In other words, spend some time, all of us going through it and comparing notes and talking about the things that we saw and learned, rather than waiting in another 6 weeks post that meeting. And since it's a 6-hour tour during a workday, I don't think talking afterwards is any kind of an option. So I'd like to propose that we all figure out a way to do that.
Ms. Falco?
You want it to be a public discussion or afterwards? If I was going to say maybe virtually. make it easier for everybody. I don't know if that's possible.
The board usually debriefs after the facilities meeting, but if you want a lengthy one, we can definitely come up, get together, whether virtually or in person, to discuss what we see at the facilities tour.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, a debrief is, I'm not sure debrief is going to be sufficient in the sense that we could write each other emails about what it is that we think we saw, but I feel like if we're not actually having a lengthy discussion about it, then we're sort of missing a real opportunity, and so that's ultimately waiting another 6 weeks afterwards, or at least trying to squeeze in a 15-minute discussion, which I'm not even sure is within the realm of what we're supposed to be doing, since it's related to board business. My only point is a longer discussion, I think, is what's warranted.
We can definitely send an email out to board members to see when we can meet prior to August 28th to have that discussion. Okay. Great. Are there any questions? Okay. So this concludes the July reorganizational and monthly Board of Education meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Ms. Koshia, and second by Ms. Abramson. Thank you so much, and enjoy your summer. Thank you.